there is a difference between fantasy and reality. Like, let's say flat Earth, right? Compared, everybody knows that the Earth is round as the moon or the sun or the rest of the stars out there or the rest of the planets out there. Why are we even different? You start to get into that fantasy of religion. Like, religion actually promotes some type of, imaginary magic. Like, what is magic? How did magic develop? Like, magic is different frequencies and sciences that we have no clue. We wasn't even thinking in this realm of it and stuff. There's microorganisms. There's a subatomic universe. So there's things that we literally can't see that exist. So, and sometimes we don't even know. Like, we thought that gravity was a particle called graviton, and then we by Bob Lazar and his reportings about 30 years ago, that his story didn't change those 30 years. We found out that gravity is a wave and can be controlled. And if gravity is controlled, that could be the start of time travel and, warp speed and, traveling distances like light speed without, the force of space destroying the machinery and stuff. That was the main topic that I think Carl Sagan and other people had. But there's a lot of stuff we don't know. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that magic exists. Like, you get a Harry Potter wand, you can wait. That's the fantasy part of it. It's just certain sciences we don't know. Like, if aliens visited and our ancient ancestors, and they coming in ships that had antimatter engines and anti-gravitational devices, shit, that is magic. I don't know, what else can you call that? Antimatter engine? And you're on a chariot? Oh hell no. You're thinking, hell no, these are gods. These are not normal. This is not normal nature. This is not how nature operates. You know what I mean? That's when you get into the magic part. So there's a difference between fantasy and reality. But the fantasy, and Hollywood knows this, the movie industry knows this, secret societies know this, and they play on people. They like, you get a high value man, over 6 foot, making over 250,000, great sex, and just love you for who you are. You can just get that. It's all available. And then you start in the dating field, and you see that is not the case. You see it's not the case. Or the fact, because you're looking at the Housewives of Atlanta, the Housewives, you're looking at Love and Hip Hop, you're looking at all these reality shows that's 100% scripted. It's scripted. So or the fact that, hey, with gangster rap and drill rap, it's like you could literally gangbang and make millions of dollars. You could literally do that. You can gangbang and make millions of dollars. Which is totally and there's people coming out, King Yella. I'm trying to think of some people that still out on the streets. Polo G. Shit. Is EBK J-Bo out? Is he in or out? I don't know. Well, I mean, but if you look at the 42 million blacks, if you look at the 42 million, let's say a good 4 or 5. It's probably a lot more, but let's say 6 million. It's probably a lot more of that. Teenagers, 6 million teenagers out of 42 million black people. You know what I'm saying? Out of 6 million, there's about 10 that they put in the forefront that say, hey, you can do this too. 10 out of 6 million. So you have better odds of being 5'1" and joining the NBA. You have better odds. Seriously, you have better odds of being paraplegic and joining the NFL. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you got better odds than that. But it's a fantasy. They throw this fantasy. So it's like, oh, continue game banging. Your culture's right. You can still smoke weed, play video games, let a female take care of you, and make millions one day. And that's the fantasy they sell people. They literally sell people that type of fantasy. Strategic driving instead of emotional driving is a difference. It's a difference. You're looking at Fast and Furious and think you could do that too, and then you wind up you riding up tipped over and stuff like that, wondering why me. You know what I'm saying? Why you got there by your how you think, your subconscious. You know, so they make these visual implants of a subconscious, or the fact that, business is easy, or you could throw a few words out and you're gonna become a millionaire. Like my kids do this. They be like, oh, I'm just gonna do this. It's like, oh, well, there's a lot to that word. Those are just words you're speaking and stuff. Are you committed to go the long run? Are you committed to lose everything and still commit to it? Steve Jobs said rational people it's not, building a business is not for rational people, because how you going to lose everything and still commit to it? You know what I mean? So now these internet gurus with these courses, that's one thing, but your best course of business is building your own course, and you going through it first, you being your first success model. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to sell a portion of the course or not is up to you. But, you know what I'm saying? Spencer Cornelius, he talks about a lot of different, that's a dude's channel, the top guru, scam, revealers, scam, with uncoverers, or it's a word for it. It's a perfect word for it. It's not uncoverer, but exposers, scam exposers. There it is, exposers. The top three top three, I say in my book, the scam exposers, of course, is CoffeeZilla, number one, Spencer Cornelius, and Pocket Watching with JT. Pocket Watching with JT is black, so there's a lot of Americans that don't want to hear from blacks. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot. Unless you're a celebrity and stuff like that, unless you're just talking about that black stuff, which everybody believes is a black culture, like tattooing your face and killing and shooting and shit like that. They like that. They see us in a set position. Like, your job is to crash into that wall, however fast or however much money you make. Your job is not to be an IT or coding, or that's my gig. Don't step into my realm. You know what I mean? So I'm not with none of that. I'm competing against you, the ones that be buying houses all the time with stable jobs and seeing their grandkids grow up. I'm competing against you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not competing against these rappers, these gangsters, these, everything else. The Uncle Sam, I stopped listening to him. He said that black people are gangbangers, black people are criminals. Oh yeah, I'm not listening to him. That he want me to run against. He has no interest. He don't have my interest in mind. So why should he's selling me a fantasy? He's selling me that the black exploitation movies was selling us fantasies that it's cool to be in the streets and you can live happily ever after. But the reality is homelessness, Skid Row, mental psychosis, homelessness, Skid Row, mental psychosis. I work with the city. I'm all around town. I see them every day. I see it all the time. I see that, and they mad at me because I got a job. They mad at me because they know they should have did 30 years ago what I'm doing today. Work. See, the good thing about work is you go to work, you get paid, you pay your bills, and then your leisure time, you create something. You create another stream of income. So that's the good part about work. You have the freedom and some, if you're saving right, if you're investing, whatever you're trying to get it off the ground. Now, my suggestion was look at internet businesses, but those are fantasies too. Somebody, okay, so I bought this one course, so I fell into the fantasy too. Nobody's immune. I fell into the fantasy, make $30,000 a month. And then CoffeeZilla said something. He said, well, if he's making $30,000 a month, why is he even talking to you? And I thought about it, like, if you making $30,000 a month, you have to hire a tax accountant because you're not paying taxes off that $30,000 a month. And 30 times 12 is 360. So you're making $360,000. You have no other choice but to hire or talk to a tax advisor. And whatever he charges you could be written off as an expense. So it's in your best interest. Whatever you paying him is going to be written off in your taxes, so you can pay lower taxes because you're paying him to teach you how to spend lower taxes, and the money you pay him lowers your taxes. I ain't saying to zero. I'm not saying that, but anything lowers, paying him is like paying some of your taxes. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of cool. That's cool. That's cool beans. But so I am saying that, if he's making $360,000 a year, then he don't want to stop and tell people how to make more money, because then the next year, let's say 1,000 people buy his course and it's popping and it's working, then he's making $150,000 the next year. But he's selling a course and he made about $5-6 million. So that's where he's getting the bulk of his money from. The course, the trainings, you could do it too, because there is some success in this course. Not the $30,000 a month, no. But it is some type of success. Maybe $1,000 or $2,000 a month. I'm making about $100 a month off of that, what he taught me. So, and I keep going because it's something I want to do. But me being a writer, so it's something I want to do. But yeah, if you really making that much, you don't have time to be talking to nobody. You don't want to talk to nobody. You're not talking to nobody. You're not telling people how to make it. No, you're too busy living life, talking to tax advisors, and guarding your money, because your friends and family is going to be like, what are you doing? And let me get some. So first of all, you're going to be telling your friends and family. So it's just one big ripoff, dude. Because at first you're going to be telling your friends and family. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to even be telling fucking strangers, here, $600 and you can get it all. No, homie, no. Your friends and family going to be pressing you. You know what I'm saying? So the internet thing, no. But find your purpose. Like, okay, digging. I've been digging. And part of my gift, I guess it's a gift, is I have an analytical mind. My mom put me in private school when I was in kindergarten and first grade. They couldn't afford it after that, but in kindergarten and first grade, they taught me long division. That's the best I could say it in one phrase, long division. Because if you know long division, then you automatically know all your timetables. It's not like you don't know none of them. You know all of them. In order to do division, in order to do long division, this is in 79 and 80. So this wasn't no the trick bag the trick bag mathematics they show you today. They want to show you another way, so your parents can't help you. Crazy, you know what I'm saying? Do I know? They should just teach you how to count your money and how to flip your money. That should be all math courses, not fucking geometry. It's geometry should be replaced with stocks and investment and compound interest. You heard? Shouldn't it? Fantasy. Oh yeah, geometry and physics. Physics is jaywalking. If a car is speeding up and it's getting closer and closer, you gotta calculate how fast can you outbeat that car crossing the street. That's physics. The car is going 85 miles per hour, traveling at a velocity, and it's 500 feet away. How many seconds does it take to get out of his path? It takes about 1.3 seconds. That's once you in the path of it. But when you first crossing the street, you're not exactly directly in his path. Once you're in his path, it takes you about 1.2 seconds. Come on, yeah, this is jaywalking. If you're bad at jaywalking, then I don't know. You really horrible at physics. You really are like, that car's going way too fast. That car going way too fast, way too close. Boom, physics. That is physics. Acceleration, distance, speed, divided by the distance and speed. Yeah, geometry, algebra. It should be how to buy a home, what you need to do, how important is credit. That's math, right? That's the math you're going to need every day till you die, instead of fucking geometry. That's fantasy. They selling you fantasy. Yeah, you don't need geometry and physics when you, yeah. Oh, you don't need to know about, we're going to see you a little course about economics, real quick course. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry your pretty little head. You're going to be enslaved for the rest of your life, so don't worry about it. That's why people be talking bad about education. People be like, oh, it's our future and it's a great investment. And this, no, Rockefeller set up free education so people could, and this was in 1904, so people could sign up for their credit cards. I mean, sign up. What am I talking about? So people could fill out applications for jobs because the industrial era was blowing up. So that's all education. That's all public school was for. That's the reason why they lobbied it and made it, about public schooling. And they sold people with this fantasy, with this dream about we're helping the people, we're educating the people. Now, when we was agricultural, when we had farms and stuff, the father would teach the son and stuff like that. And, mostly about the work of the farm and everything like that. So it was always hands-on. And then them learning how to read and write, well, maybe with contracts, hopefully. But they find no real need for it. Because, the people's word was their bond. They shook on it, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They took pride in who they were and their integrity and their, doing what they say they do. That's building your self-esteem. I just heard that from E.T., the hip-hop preacher, Dr. Eric Thomas. Check him out. Check out Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T., hip-hop preacher. He was saying that someone told him that your self-esteem is you keeping your promises to yourself. I think that was very insightful and stuff. I think that's why a lot of people have self-hate, because they're not keeping the promises to themselves. So yeah, this is just part one. I want to get more into detail about the fantasy. One of the fantasies, Uncle Sam sell you a fantasy that he's a good guy. And then we get the Freedom of Information Act and we see, Tuskegee syphilis experiment. CIA crack. Funding the Contras. What is this? I thought y'all was a good guy. 9/11 might have been an inside job. Y'all still don't, what? An inside job? No, keep listening to CNN. They're full of fantasies and stuff like that. Or this whole thing about, I don't want to get too crazy on the subject, but this whole thing about pronouns. Now, do you think Afghanistan is worried about pronouns? You think Ukraine is worried about pronouns right now? Right this second? And because we're privileged, we want to bully people into, acknowledging our pronouns and stuff like that. And for the last 250 years, for the last 250,000 years, we've been procreating. So we don't have a problem with that about gender and sex. We don't have a problem. We have a problem. We do need the LGBT community to slow down our population rate. We do need to. I know why they promote that. It's the population control. We have a big problem. You know what I'm saying? We fucking like cats and dogs. We fucking like rabbits out here. You know what I'm saying? We having babies, popping babies left and right, marriage ring or not. You know what I'm saying? We need to slow down just a little bit. Just a little bit. Control your sexual appetite just a little. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like I'm saying though, you know, so there's a fantasy of it and people accepting of it, but the reality of it is, you go inside Mexico, you go inside South Africa, you go inside Nicaragua or Nigeria or certain places, Nepal, Burma, you know what I'm saying, China, they're not accepting none of it. You know what I'm saying? They're not accepting none of it. You know what I'm saying? So there's fantasy and then there's reality. So you got to be careful of the fantasies. Especially me, I feel like, I had this fantasy of me being a superhero. And yeah, most blacks are super villains. No, I'm sorry. Bernie Madoff is a super villain. Enron, there was super villains. Y'all niggas is just the foot soldiers. Y'all the henchmen. Y'all the jokers, henchmen. But I know most of y'all are villains, but I had the fantasy of a superhero. But the reality of it is, this world is run by people who do the opposite of integrity, who say one thing and do the total opposite. And these people are ran like that. The people that go to Bohemian Grove, people that go to Bilderberg conferences, these are real brick and mortar things. You can't deny there's not an existence of a Bilderberg conferences. You can't deny that the most richest and powerful men on the planet, the most influential men on the planet. I'm not talking about Brad Pitt and Jay-Z. I'm talking about the owners of Viacom and Time Warner, which owns 99.9% of all movies, all, the AAL, all movies, plus the families that own the media, all of them. That owns the media. They come to these meetings, along with ex-presidents and stuff like that. So this is a big deal. Huge deal. It's a real big deal. What they're not saying to the public. It was secret. They didn't want to bring it out. Somebody had to break out the story. It's still been a secret. That person didn't break out the story. It's still been a secret. The most powerful men come together in secret to discuss subjects, that in and of itself is conspiracy. What they're not telling us is the conspiracy itself. So they could do anything. They have the power, the influence, and the control to do anything, like 9/11 inside job, like a pandemic, like it goes deep. So the fantasy is America's the good guys. We here. We're number one. Uncle Sam, he's here for you. And yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know how the gas prices got like this. The Ukraine and Russia? Oh, I never would have thought. This is our elected officials. How the people more smarter than them? Okay, I'm done. Fantasy versus reality. They play dumb. Catch a sucker. That's that's 48 laws of power. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Black people do that all the time. They play like they super slow and everything. Before you know it, your wallet gone. Your bank account is gone. Oh man, I'm gonna catch y'all later. Peace.